Hey YouTube, Sarah here with Crimson and Wool, and I had a whole intro and it's gone. So now you get to see me. This is going to be the part 2 of the chicken jockey pattern. This is going to help you make the zombie. It will not have every single step you need to make it, but it will help you through some of those parts that are a bit more easier to explain through a video. If you hear anything while I'm editing, that's because I'm at my son's soccer practice. I'm just gonna go ahead and start getting videos out there for you guys. And so you're gonna hear the joys of life throughout that. So let's go ahead and grab our crochet hooks and make our
chicken jockey.
All right, so we are gonna go ahead and get started on the zombie legs. If you've done any of my patterns, it is the same leg. So we are starting out by working 6 single crochets into a magic circle. Round 2 will be an increase round. You will be working 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around, giving you a total of 12 single crochets. I know that it's kind of hard to see with the black yarn. I'm going to place the stitch marker. Just go ahead and continue working your increase, and I will meet you back at the end of round 2. At this point, I always like to tie off my tail end, make it nice and tight, and give it about a good 2 or 3 ties down really close. And then you could either snip it or just kind of leave it there and stuff it in the leg. Now we're going to go ahead and start working round 3. This will be a single crochet into the back loop only. Round 4, you're going to work a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then you're gonna, if you need to, get rid of that tail end, just kind of push it into the foot. And then 4 single crochet decreases. Then you will end with 2 single crochets in the last 2 stitches. This will leave you with a total of 8 stitches for round 4. We are going to work a color change into round 5. So before finishing off your last stitch in round 2, you will go ahead and grab your blue yarn, and then I'm going to pull that through to work my color change. So at that point, I like to pull those tails tight and then work a single crochet. And so this round is round 5. You're just working 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Once I get to the end of the round, I like to tie those 2 tail ends together and just snip off the black and push the tail ends into the foot. So round 6 through 8 will be a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Go ahead and continue working up your leg, and I will meet you back at the end of round 10. Alright, so before we close off the leg, I'm going to stuff it. I like to make sure I get some stuffing down into the foot and shape the foot as needed, making sure that I'm not overstuffing. And then you are going to stuff the leg about 3/4 of the way. You do not want to stuff the leg all the way because you are going to close up the leg. So I'd say a good 3/4 of the way. Alright, so for this part of the leg, I like to work 3 single crochets. This is going to bring me around to the front of the leg. That way when we pinch the leg closed, it's nice and even. To close the leg, we are going to work 3 single crochets over both sides of the leg. So insert your crochet hook through both sides and then work a single crochet, and just repeat that until you get to the other end, and then you could go ahead and fasten off. Alright, so for only one of the legs, what you're going to do with the tail end is you are going to push it over to the other side of the leg. So what this is going to do is it's going to help us tie the legs together. So normally your tail ends would be on opposite sides. This brings it to the other side so we could join. Alright, so now that we have the tail ends together, we are going to tie them. So I want to make sure the legs are nice and even. Then I'm going to grab both those tail ends and tie them together. So it might take a little bit of finesse, but once you get it in place, it's pretty easy to tie them down. Alright, so now you can see here that we have everything tied down in place. When you cut it, don't cut it as short as I did here. I regretted that. It will come through the stitches. So I would definitely leave a longer tail. You're going to be able to keep that in the body, so there's no need to worry about cutting it down that short. I just wanted to let you know that. Don't make the mistake I did. Alright, so we are going to start our body. With both legs secured together, we are going to attach blue yarn over to these loops. So we have all these loops from the front and the back. So you just want to work into that back loop, join on one leg, and then I like to secure my first stitch on the other leg. And then tighten up that tail end. What you're going to do is simply work 15 single crochets around the front and the back of the leg. When you get to the corners, please feel free to add your increases. If you find that you have more stitches than needed, then just adjust accordingly. But for the stitch count per the pattern, you should be able to come up with your 15 single crochets. If you are finding this section challenging because of the stitch count, sometimes there are mistakes made. You might have an extra stitch in one of your legs. You don't have to start over. This is what the video is for. I just want you to know you simply need 15 single crochets evenly worked around both the front and back leg. I hope that helps. Go ahead and finish off, and I will meet you back to start round 12. Alright, so we have completed round 11. Your legs should be together and you have your first round of the body completed. So continuing on, we are working round 12, which will simply be one single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Just note that you will be working a color change into the last stitch of this round. So this is the last round for the pants, and your color change that will be worked into the last stitch of round 12 will be for the top. So go ahead and tighten up that tail end and we'll go on to the next round. Alright, so the next 5 rounds, rounds 13 through 17, are one single crochet into each stitch all the way around. I'm going to secure with a good 2 to 3 stitches and then tie off the tail end, and then get rid of that darker blue. That way we're only working with one color yarn. So same process as always, just tie 2 or 3 knots and then go ahead and snip those tail ends out of the way. Alright, so go ahead and continue working. I'm going to meet you in the middle of round 20. I did lose some footage, but go ahead and work up the pattern until you get to round 20, and I'm going to walk you through probably the most confusing part of the pattern. I wanted to help you out and go a bit more into detail. So we are at round 20. Our single crochet and then increase 8 times. That's going to give us a total of 24 stitches, and now we are going to color change into that last increase, and that's when we're going to bring our brown in. So you grab your brown, and then you are going to loop that through that last increase that you created to bring the brown in. This is going to make it nice and even. And so grab your two tail ends, the green and the brown tail end, and pull those tight together. You're going to want to make a habit of doing that as you work your color change for the hair on each side as you color change. And then you are going to continue working in brown, a single crochet, and then a single crochet increase until you get to the end of the round. So that would be a total of 2 times. This will give you a total of 30 stitches for round 20. All right, so the reason we work the color change up this way is that if we were to add it to the end of the round, then we wouldn't have the hairline symmetrical with the body. So this is going to allow us to give us a symmetrical hairline. Now, the joy of crocheting is that sometimes the stitch count might be a little off with your tension or the type of yarn you're using, your crochet hook. So just know that there is some way to go about this so that you have a symmetrical hairline. All right, so the color change for the green and the brown is based off of 15 stitches and 15 stitches. So the head size is a total of 30 stitches. So you just have to have your hairline an even 15 brown and an even 15 green. I hope that that makes sense. I added that to the note section of the pattern, but I wanted to just kind of explain that as well. So continuing on with rounds 22 through 25, you would be working 9 single crochets in brown, color changing to your green, and then working 15 single crochets in green, color changing to your brown, and working 6 single crochets in brown. So that gives you a total of 15 green and 15 brown. Go ahead and place your stitch markers so you could still keep track of when the round begins and ends. All right, so basically you'll just keep working up those rounds, working your color change. I do want to walk you through a color change one more time. So I'm going to work my brown until I get over to my green for color change. And I want you to notice what I do. I am pulling the green over, and then I'm going to loosen up that tail end so that it is not tight, but it's still connected. You can either cut the yarn and tie it off each time, but I find that those stitches could come out. So I like to just kind of give the tail a little bit of slack and then continue working. I don't find the need to have to crochet over that tail end or anything. I just basically do that back and forth for all the rounds of the hair, and then I stuff those into the neck. So that's why I pull the yarn so that we bring the new color change in, which is the brown, pull that through, and then I'm pulling that brown to loosen it up some so that the head is not going to tighten up on itself in any way. I always tighten up those tail ends before I continue with the stitch. So now you could just go ahead and continue working the rounds with your color change, doing the same process. All right, so I will meet you back to show you how to place the safety eyes. So we are going to place our safety eyes between rounds 23 and 24, 4 visible stitches apart. Okay, so just go ahead and continue to work up the pattern, and I will meet you back here to go over how to work the hair strand. All right, go ahead and grab your hook and your yarn, the brown yarn that matches your hair. You are going to work a chain 4. Then you are going to work a slipped stitch into the second chain from the hook, and then a single crochet into the last 2 remaining stitches. This is going to be our first hair cluster or triangle, and you're going to repeat the same process 6 more times. So chain 4, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, and a single crochet into the last 2 stitches. So continue working that until you have a total of 7 hair triangles or strands, and this is going to be the hair for the front of the head. Alright, so once you have finished, fasten off, leave a long enough tail so that you could sew everything into place. You see we have our hair strand here. Alright, go ahead and work up the arms, and I will meet you back so we can assemble everything and add detail. Alright, so you'll need your arms, your hair strand, you're going to need a scrap piece of black, you're going to need some white, and then brown eyeshadow and an eyeshadow applicator. So go ahead and make sure you have all of that so that we can assemble everything. So I am going to start with adding the mouth. Grab your white yarn, and then I am going to attach this, and I'm going to use the eyes as a guide. I'm going to go a whole stitch under the eye, bring it over through to the other eye, and then we're going to use that as a base and just wrap your white yarn around at least 2 to 3 times. After that, you will go ahead and sew in your tail ends. Now grab your black yarn, and we are going to use this to add all of our detail that we will be applying in black. So let's start with the eyes. Go ahead and bring your black yarn through the corner of one eye and up and over, and then bring it through to the other eye and repeat that process again. So you're going to go over just a tad. On this eye, I like to bring the yarn back through the other side. This kind of helps give it the same tilted eye slant look. I don't know, I just feel like it adds expression. So I like to split my yarn here. So your yarn has 4 strands, and I'm going to split it into 2. And this is going to help give us the teeth detail, and then we'll also add our nose. So I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and then bring it through just 2 of those strands. And we're going to bring it through over to the mouth, and we're going to wrap strands of yarn to create the teeth. Alright, so go ahead and fix any detail that you may need. Sometimes you gotta play around. Alright, so now we are going to make the nose. We're gonna bring our yarn, our black yarn, still using the 2 strands, over and center up with the nose. Bring it down to one corner closer to the left eye or the right eye, depending on how you're looking at it. Then bring it over. So you're basically just making an upside down V. For the nose. At this point, we are finished with the black. You can go ahead and secure all your tail ends in. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get our brown eyeshadow, and use just a makeup blending brush. And I'm going to apply some of this brown around the eyes. So I just kind of apply some, and if I feel like I need more, I apply more. I kind of leave it up to your discretion. This is kind of to give those sunken in zombie eyes. Alright, so let's go ahead and secure the hair down. As I was saying, we want to place the hair with the wrong side down. This is going to help it kind of curve over. And so just pay attention to the right and the wrong side. Now go ahead and line it up. I use that round that is created when we work that back loop only as a guide, and I also go through those loops to kind of help secure it in place. So I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and secure one side down. And then I'm going to grab the other side and secure that side down. That way it doesn't move around on me when I'm trying to secure the rest of it down. So I pull that tapestry needle through, and then I'm gonna wrap between each hair strand. And so just pay attention, sometimes they can get caught on those little hairs, and so I just basically do that for the rest of the head. I'm going to keep wrapping to secure down in place in between each hair strand. Alright, so I am about done. I'm going to make sure everything looks nice and clean, and then we can weave in our tail ends, and then we will move on to adding our arms. We are almost done. We are going to attach our arms now. Grab one arm and line it up with the body. I'm going to push my tapestry needle through on one side through to the other. I grab the corner of the arm and secure that down in place. I'm going to turn the body, and I'm going to attach the other side and make sure that is nice and secure, and bring my tapestry needle through the middle and push it through to the other side. And I just kind of work back and forth in the same manner. I'm weaving my tail end in, and I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So I'll go ahead and show you that again. I know I went kind of fast. Alright, so you'll go ahead and line up your arm evenly with the body. You want to secure down on the right side. Pull or push your tapestry needle through to the other side and secure the corner. Then go ahead and secure the middle and wrap back through and secure that back end again as needed. Weave in your tail ends. And guess what, guys? You are all finished. Check out that cute zombie. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video that will help go along with the pattern. If you have worked up both the chicken and the zombie, here they are all together. If you want to secure your zombie onto the chicken, I use a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the zombie and attach it to the chicken, as well as a little bit of hot glue to secure the legs in place, and then the hands secured to the head. If you would like to stitch in place, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Whatever works for you. That's what's so fun about crocheting. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I look forward to seeing all the chicken jockeys that you guys make. Please tag me on Instagram at Crimson and Wool. And as always, I look forward to crocheting with you again next time.